So what do you do when life gets busy and you just don't have time to mow? Or maybe you're getting ready to head out for vacation and you don't want to come back to an absolute jungle. So in today's video, I'm going to show you a really simple solution for how to slow down your grass using a plant growth regulator. Let's get into the video. So guys, I understand life happens. We get busy, we go on vacation, and sometimes the lawn is just growing so fast. Sometimes we feel like we just can't keep up. Not just that we feel like, we physically can't keep up. You know, maybe we've got kids' sports, we've got things going on, and that is completely fine. We all know about the 1/3 rule.
The 1/3 rule.
Called the 1/3 rule.
1/3 of a grass blade
Called the 1/3 rule.
Right? We never want to break the 1/3 rule, the dreaded 1/3 rule. We never want to remove more than 1/3 of the grass blade at any mowing, right? And we all understand that. But like I said, sometimes life just happens and we get busy, or maybe we go on vacation. And that's exactly what's happening to me. Spring break, I'm getting ready to take my kids on a week vacation, and we're gonna go on a cruise, we're gonna relax, and we're gonna have a great time. But here's my problem, guys. The lawn is absolutely growing out of control. Literally, it's growing a few inches every single day. Cooler temperatures, we've been feeding the lawn really well. We're getting plenty of rainfall, and the grass is responding, and it looks fantastic. And the last thing that I want to do is come back to this lawn being completely overgrown and then it just being an absolute mess. So that's why I want to show you guys what I'm going to use to help control the growth of my grass so that I don't have to worry about it when I come back. So before we get too far into the video, please hit that like button if you find this video helpful. That would really help me out. I would really appreciate it. So the first question you're going to ask yourself is, well, what is a plant growth regulator? And it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a product that we're going to apply to the turf that it's then going to uptake, that is going to slow the top growth of the grass. I want you guys to know this is perfectly safe. I don't want you to be afraid of using these. I, for one, myself, when I first started using a plant growth regulator, was worried. I was afraid that I was going to hurt something or that they were, some scientific thing. It's not that big a deal, and I'm going to show you why it's not that big of a deal. So there are really two plant growth regulators that I have the most experience with, and my favorite happens to be a plant growth regulator called Anew. Now, I really like Anew. It is a little bit more expensive than the product that I'm going to use today, but it is much softer. It's much more gentler on the turf, and we're going to talk about a strategy that you can use when you're applying this T-Nex so that it doesn't harm your grass. But Anew is fantastic. It is a little bit more expensive. Again, it's a little softer on your turf. And another benefit is it has a longer residual, meaning it stays inside the plant a little bit longer. Just through the chemical process, I guess the way it works, it just hangs out a little bit longer. But the product we're gonna use today is called T-Nex. You've probably seen this on other channels. This is readily available. You can pick it up on Amazon. I'll leave a link down below where you can go check this out. Now this 1 gallon bottle is about halfway empty. I only use this a few times during the year, a few times in the spring, and then a few times in the fall. So this 1 gallon jug will last you an absolute long time. Now for my turf, the application rate according to the label is 0.75 ounces per 1,000 square feet. And so the first tip that I want to give you when you're applying T-Nex for the very first time for the season, all right, is to make sure that you go at the half rate. So for me, what I'm gonna do is measure out 0.3 ounces per 1,000, put it in my backpack sprayer, and I'm gonna broadcast spray that over my lawn. So why go out at the half rate? Well, it's really simple. If you go out at the full rate for the very first time, it really shocks your grass and you can get what's called bronzing. And that's just that yellow kind of burned tips. Your grass is fine. It's just, it doesn't like it that much, I guess. And so we don't want to do anything to affect the color of the grass. It's looking great. But if you do end up burning your lawn, it's okay. It'll be a while because obviously the grass is going to quit growing. That's one of the major benefits of a plant growth regulator. Kids are coming home from school. Got to pause the video. Okay, so speaking of benefits of plant growth regulator, obviously the big benefit, the reason why we're doing this is because it's going to slow down the turf. for probably the next 2 or 3 weeks, it is going to drastically reduce the amount of top growth that I'm getting in the turf, right? Well, the grass is still doing all of its things, right? It's still got all of that energy. It's still taking in sunlight. It's producing chlorophyll. And that's really benefit number 2, is it's going to build up all of that chlorophyll. The grass is going to turn a beautiful dark green color. It's going to be gorgeous. Another thing that's going to do with all that energy, right? It's still doing all of its stuff. It's still got all that energy. Well, it's going to put it into root growth, which is perfect because we're getting ready to go into the most stressful period for our grass, which is summer. So having a really strong root system is going to be fantastic. Not to mention, because it's not sending up all that energy to go up, it's also sending it to go down and out. So those grass blades are going to thicken, they're going to widen, and this grass is going to just be absolutely popping and beautiful. Now, I mentioned earlier about some precautions and things that you need to look out for. Number 1 is make sure the first time you apply it that you go out at the half rate. Now, once you've applied it, you can then reapply it at the full rate, and everything will be just fine. You won't get the bronzing like you will for that first application. Something else that I want to caution you, and for those of you that have a cool season turf, we want to make sure that the lawn is not under any sort of regulation when fungus kind of starts creeping in, right? When the temperatures start warming up, the humidity starts cranking up a little bit, we really want to make sure that our lawn is not under regulation. And the big reason for that is if we were to get a fungus, the lawn needs to be actively growing, and maybe we want to add some fertilizer to help push that fungus out. So if the lawn is not growing and it gets a fungus, right, that could potentially cause a really big problem. Just be careful around that, and I think you'll be just perfectly fine. And so if you've been around a PGR or heard PGR in the past, you've probably heard of the term growing degree days. Right? That's this complicated formula that we try to figure out how long the residual is that this product is going to stay within the plant. Basically, it has to do with air temperature, and I don't want you to worry about it, is all I'm saying. What I want you to do is just watch your lawn. You'll see it start growing. For the first 2 or 3 weeks, your lawn is literally not going to grow. I want you to continue to mow like normal, water like normal, feed like normal, do everything normal. But you're going to notice when you do end up mowing, there's not really going to be a whole lot of grass clippings, which is another great benefit. We're really going to reduce the amount of clippings that we're putting on the lawn. But growing degree days is something that's just, it's a complicated formula. And all I want you to do is just focus on watching the grass. When you start to see that lawn start to grow again, then you can reapply. Typically, it's between 21 to 28 days. Again, it depends on the air temperature, and if you want to go down that rabbit hole, by all means, go down that rabbit hole and you can go investigate all that by yourself. But I just want to keep things really simple because this is not something that I want you to be afraid of. This is a tool in our tool belt to help regulate the growth of our lawn, help it keep dark green color, and reduce the grass clippings. And I promise your neighbors are going to notice a difference, and you're going to notice a difference at how beautiful your lawn is. So like I said, if you are getting ready to go on vacation, apply this maybe a week before you leave for vacation, and when you come back, you know, maybe you've mowed one more time before you leave to go on vacation. When you come back, you'll notice your lawn really hasn't done anything. You really don't have much to mow, and you're going to be so happy. Or if you have a lot going on, like I said, with sports, and you've got kids and the weekends and things like that, and you just want some help, this is the ticket. So that's enough talking. I'm going to get to spraying. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to mix in 0.3 ounces per 1,000 into my FlowZone backpack sprayer, and I'm going to broadcast this over my 10,000 square feet. Now, I consider this a foliar application, and so I'll take this 4 gallons and it'll cover my 5,000 square feet. So again, foliar application means we want to get this inside the tissue. We don't need to water it in. We want to leave it and let it dry and let those leaves absorb this product into them. And that's it. That's all we have to do. And then you'll notice in 3 or 4 days when your grass quits growing and you're not mowing as much, and that'll probably go on for 2 or 3 weeks, and then you'll slowly start to see the grass kind of start growing again, and then that's when you'll reapply. So really quick, leave me a question down below. If you've got a comment, have you used plant growth regulators? Maybe you've never tried it before. Leave me a comment, ask me a question. That's what I'm here for. I'd love to hear from you. Let's get to spraying. All right, so we've got 4 gallons of water in our backpack sprayer. Now we're gonna add what'll be 1.5 ounces of the PGR. We're gonna measure that out. So you can see it has a very, very low use rate. And it's super important to make sure we measure this correctly, because you go heavy-handed, and like I said in the beginning, you could potentially bronze your lawn. So that's it. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it does not take a lot. Mix this up. Top it off with water. And as I mentioned, my lawn is 20,000 square feet, so this 4 gallons is gonna cover 5,000 square feet, so I'll just have to repeat this 4 different times. And it's really that simple. So let me spray this on my lawn, and then we'll come back and wrap this video up. All right guys, so it really is that simple. I guess the purpose of making this video for you is just to tell you that it's not anything that you need to be worried about. It's not anything that you need to overcomplicate or overthink. You know, I mentioned earlier about growing degree days. If that's something that you want to go down the rabbit hole of and investigate, by all means. The main precautions that I want you to watch out for. If we're getting around fungus, don't spray. If your lawn is under any sort of stress, so drought stress, heat stress, you're not mowing correctly to begin with, those sorts of things, don't apply. It's, again, we want to apply this to a healthy stand of turf. So if you want to mow less, have less clippings, have a beautiful dark green lawn that you don't have to really worry about for the next couple of weeks, give a PGR a shot. Again, I'll leave links down below where you can go check that out. My name is Devin. I'm the DIY Lawn Coach. I can't wait to see you in the lawn. Peace.